Well, Pastor Damilola, well, first of all, I wanted to thank you for your time. Um, you might be wondering, okay, and everybody actually watching this video might be wondering, okay, why this conversation? It's not properly an interview, it's actually a conversation.
That's right.
So this is also a way of me showing the gratitude because I have been invited here to speak. I was invited by you,
Right.
but I'll let you, I'll let you explain and tell everybody who's watching us how exactly did you meet me? How we came to the point to even talk.
All right. Okay. And thank you, Elder. And it's good to also have you here. And thank you also for inviting me. All right. Yeah, like I said, I I think it was on LinkedIn. I think I was just looking through some profiles, and this was a couple of years back. I'm not even really sure why your profile actually popped up, but I just saw your profile, and I saw that this was a very young man that was working with one of the major oil and gas company, and I just read through the profile, and I just saw that okay, and by the way, I'm not even sure I've told you this. Actually, I have a background in IT. Okay, so so that, that was the reason because I saw your profile. So I was looking at all the certification that you have written. So I was like, oh, that's very good. And at that point in time, because I think I just came into Angola, I think that was about like 4 or 5 years. So I was, basically I knew the IT industry was still at the development stage. So, and I saw someone that was a little bit, above the average. He was already taking certification in Microsoft and all those things. So, and I just, I think I tagged you or something like that. So, from then on, many times when I go over to LinkedIn, your profile, all this just comes up and everything. So, and I think sometime this year, also I saw that you've been moving around, which was part of the work that you were doing. So I think sometime this year, we just started our youth church, for basically the young and the young adults. So I was basically, looking at how we could get, people that could speak to the youth, and then that could be more like a role model, that could be more like a mentor to them. Because one of the things that we wanted to do was within the youth church, we wanted to create an environment for them. We didn't want it to be like the normal church that's for the adults, the one that they are used to. So we wanted to create something that was very, very targeted to the things that really matters to them. And we knew that quite a number of them need a bit of mentoring, especially some of them need clarity. And so I just saw, your profile again, and then I went through. I just saw that you have really, gone through some metamorphoses that you have now moved into mentoring and all those kind of a thing. And I said, okay, wow. So, and then I read more about what you were doing. I read how you've been involved in a lot of coaching and mentoring, and okay, I said, well, I think there's someone that would think would be of help to us in what we are trying to do in our youth church. And that's why I called you, and you graciously, accepted. And that was it. And before we knew what was going on, you're already here.
Right. And I thank you for that. Actually, as I have mentioned before, this was like the biggest honor I have received so far in my life.
Wow.
Being invited to speak in the church.
Right.
This is the house of God, right?
Yeah.
We do have similarities, like what we're doing right now, and we're going to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
What we do right now is actually kind of similar, even though you're a pastor and I am a mentor, but we do have also as a purpose to help people to get clarity on what they can actually do and how they should walk, let's say, you know, which is like amazing. But I want to talk about what you're doing right now, okay? Because you've been here in Angola for over 10 years now, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So you've been doing an amazing job. I could see, I'm really happy to see like my Angolan brothers today speaking English, even though they did not attend an English training, like going to an English course, English training center. They can speak English,
Right.
which is amazing. Because as a mentor that I am today, I did not like came from just like anything. I have the journey. I trusted the process,
Yeah.
and I'm here today, right?
Yeah.
This is something that really started like when I was 9 years old. I'm always like grateful to my parents, my mom. May her soul rest in peace.
Wow.
She was the one with my father, of course, at the time when I was 9 years old. They have invested. Yes, I was trying to negotiate with them, right? Because I wanted to learn English so bad. And I think that was one of the best things I've done in my life, because it really allowed me to scale my life and my career, you know, to have access to different information, different and big mentors that I had access to travel the world, you know, to internationalize my career, you know, as a project manager, as an IT leader, you know. But we do have this almost same purpose today, to help people.
Right.
And I have noticed that a lot of people here in Angola, we have like different companies here. We have people from all walks of life. Maybe they don't know like there's a church where they can come and speak English. See, and I'm a Christian too. This is what I learned from my parents. So there's no way I could do different. Which is why I was very, very like honored, you know, by being invited by you to come to this church and speak to the youth here. I hope I somehow managed to help them, to give them direction and
Yeah.
clarity.
I think I think we had a good feedback. We had a very good feedback. That's why I want to believe that the relationship is just starting. I don't expect that you will have been able to pour everything inside of them just in one meeting.
Right.
So I know that definitely as things progresses, we're still going to be having you more and more come around, you know, to engage our youth. It's like you said, it's a journey, it's a process that we're trying to help people, and I see some of those things as, for example, I don't see pastoring as a career. Okay, some may see it like that, but I don't see it like a career. It's a lifelong thing, and you keep on doing it. You know, transforming people is a lifelong thing. Yeah.
It's very similar. It's actually funny that you just said that, because I'm a professional, of course, in the oil and gas industry, and I'm a mentor, right? People usually ask me, okay, Helder, like, how do you do it? Like, how do you do what you do?
Right.
Because you have a full-time job and you still manage to be the leader of this global movement of mentoring. It's like, how do you manage your business.
I,
And I tell people, like, this is not my business. This is my life.
yeah, I actually asked you that same question.
Yeah, you actually asked me. This is my life. This
Yeah.
is my purpose of life, which
Yeah,
is why
that's
I'm
correct.
doing it.
Right.
It took me a while. I'm a mentor and I have mentors as well, but
Yeah.
it took me a while. But today, I keep telling people, no, this is my life, which is why even to enroll people into my mentoring program, like we have people from pretty much everywhere, like from Brazil, Canada. We have people from France, people
Right.
from Congo.
Right.
In the we have people from South Africa.
Right. Right.
So Cape Verde. Like we
Right.
have people from pretty much everywhere.
Right.
So, but I'm really selective, like when we try to enroll, because people need to know what they want
Clear.
and preferably why they want it, so we can help. Because sometimes people don't really realize they need to, first of all, empty their cup.
That's true.
If you want change, you must change, right?
Right. Right. That's true.
So, can you share with us, like, what do you, when I say what do you do, like, what have you been doing, the challenges here in Angola? You've been here for over 10 years now. Like, have you been facing too many challenges here, like with the Angolan youth? And not only Angolan, because I believe we have people from different countries coming
Yes.
into your church, right?
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yeah. Well, let me just first say this. Challenges are everywhere. Okay, it's not something that is peculiar to Angola as an environment. I mean, the African continent is a continent full of challenges, and also is a continent that is full of opportunities. I don't want us to look at it more from that, or maybe face a lot of challenges in Angola, but I just wanted to say that. But I would say that also. Yeah, there was challenges when we started. The first was the language barrier. I don't speak Portuguese, but I remember then when I was coming over, here. Someone saw me and said, "Oh, I understand you're moving to Angola to start some work there." I said, "Yes," and the person said, "Oh, do you speak Portuguese?" I said, "Not really, not really." So he said, "Well, so how are you going to be able to, survive?" And I said, "Well, it's a challenge, and I'm ready to, to pick it up." And yeah, there were, series of, time whereby, some of those challenges want to get to you, but you just you just need to find a way to continue. Okay. And really, the truth of the matter is that, yes, like I said, there are challenges everywhere, but just because there are challenges does not mean that they cannot be surmounted. Incidentally, this morning I was sharing with both our international service and our national service, and I was speaking to them about how you can deal with opposition, and our life is built with opposition everywhere. And the only people that are making any meaningful progress in their life are people that have been faced with opposition and they've been able to surmount those opposition. So for us as a church, when we started somewhere, in the suburb called Morobento, somewhere, and it's a very small room, and we just meet there, little by little, from there we move, to, I don't know how I'm going to put this. Actually, it's a 5-star hotel that we that we moved to, So we started using one of their small rooms for our meetings. And well, the reason basically was that, God helped us, and the people that God was bringing to us, were people, that, they are a bit used to a particular level of comfort. Even though we were starting very small, they understood that, okay, it was still a church that was still starting, and so they were able to, put up with some of those inconveniences. But after a while, as God began to help us, and we were, growing, and it was then we now said to ourselves, okay, all right, why don't we look for a more convenient venue for our meetings? And then
That's impressive.
we're able to
That is
get there.
impressive. And this is also one of the things that I want people to understand. We need to trust the process
Yes.
and accept the challenge, being able to and willing to actually take the journey. Because that's a journey, right?
Exactly.
You first believed it was possible
Right.
that you could do that because of your faith.
Yeah.
It's kind of like similar, but I don't really want to compare that because to me God is here, of course.
Yeah.
But as son of God, that's actually what I usually share with my mentees. Like, I tell them, you need to be able to empty your cup, trust the process,
Yeah.
because you came to me for a reason, right? Because people usually come to me when they figure out that, okay, even though they have over 10 years of experience,
Right.
professional experience,
Right.
they still cannot monetize their skills online.
Right.
We're in digital era now, and people want to make sure they can actually survive.
Yeah.
They can provide, for their family
Yeah.
by doing something good, adding value online
That's
and
true.
offline.
That's
See?
true.
So this is also why people usually come to me. They need guidance. They feel lost at some point in their careers, in their life. They don't know what to do. They don't know what kind of value they can actually add to the market. So they come to me because they need clarity. And I don't only give them clarity, but I also give them the tools so they can actually use and scale their career
That's
or their business. Let's say I have recently someone who's actually a leader, who enrolled recently to the program. And during our conversation, the person told me, okay, Helder, but here's the thing. I'm scared. So why are you scared? I asked. Because sometimes I feel like if I'm not in the office, my company will stop growing. And I keep telling people, how you do anything is how you do everything. You need to invest in yourself. And this investment involves the balance, spiritual. Because people sometimes they don't understand, Helder, but how can you have this balance? That's because I know God.
That's true.
My parents showed me the way to me and my brothers. And even though I have other mentors, I went to school, I'm a professional, I have managed to get all this experience. But the basics, the foundation, my background, I never forget my background. Which is why I'm able to guide them and teach them, like we're talking about, just to give authority to people watching us right now. I teach them the mindset so they can get clarity and overcome all the obstacles they have in their mind, holding them back. And I go to church, and I know it's kind of similar when you go to church because you need to get some spiritual education. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if you want to do things different, you want to get better results, you need to do things differently.
That's correct.
Right? You don't know better, you cannot do better.
That's correct.
So you need to be willing to learn and know better. So I teach them mindset. I teach them how they can speak to the public speaking.
That's good.
Because a lot of people have this difficulty because of the fear they have in their mind, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And not only that, I teach them how to negotiate better deals, better terms, how they can sell, how they can close more, because we know nothing happens in the business until a sale is made.
That's correct. Yeah.
And we need that so we can consider our business as sustainable, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So these four things are actually the main things which are very important, because if you don't know how to negotiate properly, how can you know how to communicate effectively, how to lead people? Because you don't listen to people. And you're doing something different, because I see the relationship that you have with everybody here, with your staff. You listen to them. It's a very healthy relationship.
Yes.
So how do you manage that? How do you do that?
Well, okay, it's important. Let me just say this. Sometimes I tell our church people that if you look at the Bible, Jesus had a template of what he was going to use to be able to carry out his mission on the earth when he was on the earth. Okay? We all know he came to die, was buried, and he rose again. But that was not all that Jesus came to do. And how do we know that? There's a place in one of the gospel that it says, and Jesus was teaching and preaching, and then he was healing. He was teaching, and he was preaching, and he was healing. Now you could see that the first two activity, that is the teaching and the preaching, was basically about changing the mindset of the people. It was also about empowering them. You understand what I'm saying? Which is basically, in a summary, all the various things that you have mentioned tries to accomplish in the lives of some of the people that comes to meet you and say, Elder, look, this is what I'm going through. How do I, overcome this? So it talks about teaching and preaching, which is basically trying to transform their mind, trying to change the way they see things, try to make them understand that this is how you are to use your mind in this particular situation. And at the end of the day, that is really where the change comes from. I tell our church people that miracles are good. They give us goosebumps. We like it. I like it. We enjoy it. It's good when God does something massive. We give him all the glory. We thank him for it. It's good. We want to see more of it. But I used to tell them, do you know the miracle does not transform? It doesn't change you. What really changes you is the knowledge, is the teachings, is the preaching that you embrace, which at the end of the day causes you to experience those transformation. So it is even when those transformation has taken place, that is when even the miracle that you've experienced can be very beneficial to you.
Agree with you 100%, which is why I tell all the mentees and everybody coming to my mentoring program, it's not only about the information, because you can actually find information pretty much everywhere.
That's true.
You go on the
In
internet.
fact, There is now information overload. There's overload.
information everywhere.
Yes, that's true.
It is really about the transformation.
Yeah.
Because we transform people. I have mentees today. They shoot videos like there's no tomorrow. But at first, beginning, they could not shoot a video. They even gave me objections like, Helder, we understand your purpose. We love the mentoring program, but you know what? We are not going to shoot videos. What? Are you serious? So then I had to explain that as a mentor, I need to ask people, I need to ask you to do wherever you don't want to do, you don't feel really comfortable
You're right.
doing, right? So you can become who you said you want to be.
That's true, yeah.
Because there's no growth in our comfort zone. If you want to stay and remain in your comfort zone, you're not going to grow.
Yes.
When you get out of your comfort zone, that's actually when you accept the challenges.
That's true.
Which is why it is a challenge, because it's not something you do usually. It's not something that you're really used to, to do. So if you don't accept that, how do you think you're going to become who you said you want to become?
Yeah.
Because what got you here will not get you there. You need to get new tools, new experience, new skills, so you can scale. See? So I love that. So, and I would take also the opportunity right now, as we have discussed, to talk about what we actually do, what we love, and what we want. See?
Okay.
In my case, well, I'll let you go first. We know you pastor. Like, it's important that everybody actually understands what we do, what we love, and what we want, so they can eventually relate if they relate to it.
I mean, the truth of the matter is that many of us have passions. Many of us have desires. But having passion and desires are not enough. You need to translate those desires and those passion into something that is tangible in the sense that it is something that gives you some sense of self-fulfillment and also help other people. And so I think one of the most important things people need to understand when we're talking about the things that they love, the passion that they have, is that those things on their own don't mean much. It doesn't mean much. You've got to be able to then sit down and tell yourself, how do I translate this passion? How do I translate these desires? How do I, make them meaningful, for me as an individual? Desire is a dime a dozen. Everybody have desires. Everybody have, some people have passion. Everybody will say, oh, I have passion and everything. But, are you translating it into something tangible? And I think that is where people like you come in. You understand that can always help people to be able to lay the right track, to be able to help them take those desires, those passions that they have, those dreams that they have, they can break it down into actionable steps so that they can then begin to follow those steps. And at the end of the day, they see their dreams and they become realities. And there are so many people with dreams, but there are no realities.
Every dream can actually come true if we have one,
Yeah.
and if we work towards, like, wherever it's it is required in order to allow us to get to that point.
Yeah.
As a mentor, what I actually do, I want people to understand it's really important because I'm a mentor, but I usually tell people that you should go to church. You need to know God. We
Yeah.
have a very nice, very beautiful church here, city of Luanda, which is your church and Church of God. I'm really, really grateful to have the opportunity to be here.
Yeah.
And as a mentor, I empower people so they can overcome all the obstacles they have in their mind, mainly in their mind, so they can actually get clarity, you know, and being able to monetize their skills online and offline. I teach them how they can speak to the public,
Yeah.
how they can negotiate,
Right.
how they can sell,
Right.
and how they can actually create better strategies, how they can lead, become better leader.
Right.
Because, and when I talk about the clarity, because people from church, from everywhere, they have different ideas, right? But usually they don't know exactly which idea they should focus on.
Yeah.
It's really hard, and some things I want people to understand that some things, we will not learn at school.
That's correct.
You will only learn at the church
Yeah.
and from a mentor,
Yeah. Yeah.
someone who's been there, who's done that. Because I know sometimes people really confuse, but it's important to understand the role of a pastor, of a church, and of a mentor. I really love mentoring people. I love guiding people. I've been there. I experienced that before in my life. Times where I was kind of lost. I didn't know what to do, where to go. But then, because of the fact that I had a mentor and I used to go to church, I made everything I had to in order to find my way. And here I am now. So I want to thank you once again, Pastor. It was a very good conversation. It's actually a pleasure to have this conversation with you.
Yeah.
I wanted to invite people here in Angola, in Luanda, which is the capital of Angola where we
Yeah.
are now, Talatona, so they can come to your church to get some help
That's
and spiritual education as well.
yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they don't only speak English or Portuguese.
They're welcome. They're welcome.
Okay.
It's important. Just in closing, actually, it's important. What you said. Quite a number of people don't really understand or don't really realize that even the work, well, maybe some don't see it like that. I see it more from that point of view, that my role actually is more of a mentor for people. Okay? Again, taking a perfect example from the life and the ministry of our Lord Jesus Christ. When he started his ministry, he called 12 guys. And what did he do with those 12? He mentored them. He mentored them. That in a summary, that was what all that 3 years that he spent with those guys when he started his ministry, before he then, went to the cross. All those things it was about mentoring. They were asking him questions. He was showing them, okay, this is how you do it. When they tried to do it and they had some challenges, they come back to him and said, okay, you taught us to do it this way, but we did it and it didn't work out the way we expected it. And he says, okay, sit down, all right? Let me teach you another. Because this one you go about it in a very different way. So basically, a pastor role is more of a mentor.
That's a mentor for life, right?
Exactly.
Which is why I said already in the beginning that we do have like very similar role, even though
Exactly.
you're a pastor.
Yeah.
But I mentor people. I give them clarity more into the business side,
Side of things. Yeah.
right? A bit of also of life, because if something is holding them back, they're not going to be able to do any business, to learn,
Yeah.
to get more sales, to structure their
Yes.
business better,
Yeah.
to know the market, to find the market. They
Yeah.
cannot do that if there's they have some obstacles, holding them back.
Yeah.
So, which is why I find it even more interesting that we do have each one on his own side, but we do have like very similar role,
Exactly.
which is to help people, empower
Exactly.
people,
Exactly.
so they can move forward with their
Exactly.
lives,
Exactly.
right?
The only difference is just that you do it from the natural side of things, and we do it from the spiritual side of things.
Exactly. That's right. Entrepreneurship, I love that. I
Yeah.
love helping people to know, because people might be wondering, okay, why do we do what we do?
Right.
In my personal case, is that one of the biggest fears that every human being has, it's not really about the death, about snake, it's public speaking, but there's another one, which is not being able to provide for their family.
That's true.
So by helping them get the clarity of the value they can add, now they will not only use what they already have, all the skills they have, all the knowledge, but I transfer the skills, the techniques to negotiate, to change the mind,
Right.
so they can think business.
Right.
When I say business, people might be wondering, okay, but I'm not into entrepreneurship, for example. It doesn't really matter. If you work for a business, you might not own a business, but you might work for a business because you
that's
have a job.
Yeah.
If you have a job, you want to scale your career, you want to do better, and people usually struggle to get noticed, like to get promoted. So I help these kind of people too. I have like administrators in my mentoring program, because they need clarity and they need to know how and what they need to do in order to get noticed and get better
Yeah.
position.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much what we do, and it's really amazing to share all these experiences, all this knowledge.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, in my view, I think this is one of the most fulfilling thing that anybody can do. And that is why, like you said, this is not a job. This is a life. That's what you live for. That's what you breathe for. Okay? There is nothing as fulfilling. There is nothing as fulfilling like you, based on some of the things that you've said that you do, to take someone from this point A, okay, where there are no clarity, they don't know what to do with whatever it is that they have. Maybe they have this dream, they don't even know how to lay the tracks for them to be able to see those dreams being fulfilled. But here they come to you and you sit them down, ask them a series of questions. And after asking them a series of questions, based on your own experiences and some of the things that you have come to learn along the way, you begin to give them some of those tools. And then you begin to also guide them and say, this is how you go about it. If you fail this way, you come back, we sit down again, we look at it, we strategize, and then you go and implement. And then, this process continues until that person, say, for example, wanted to build a business, maybe had about just $10, just for example, and suddenly, after going through this kind of a program, suddenly, at the end of the day, that 10,000 has actually gone up to $1,000 and everything. And you see the person, from where he or she was, and now where that person is. I don't think there's anything as thrilling and fulfilling as that.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Showing them the journey, the process.
Yeah.
Because Well, I'm proudly Angolan, of course.
Yeah.
I've had the opportunity to learn English and French,
Right.
which allows me to help people not only in Portuguese
Yeah.
or in English, but I also help people who don't really speak
Yeah, you know, I told
neither
you,
Portuguese or English. It's
you are
in French.
you are international.
Yeah, it's a global movement, you know.
So you can
Yeah.
operate from anywhere. Yeah.
It's a global movement, and I tell people you can get help because I also do consulting, right? Because I've had someone very recently, actually two people. One was actually from Congo, which is why I talk about
Okay.
Congo, which is a very close country. And the other one is a business owner from he's actually from India, but he lives in the U.S. now in California.
Okay.
So he's been struggling with his business, you know, to get sales. He wants to get more customers, of course. He wants to increase the sales
Yeah.
and being able to serve more countries, more, you know, bigger market. So they came to me, you know. I'm not the best. I don't want to be the best. Jesus Christ is the best. I just try to do my thing. I try to help people as much as I can.
At least you must be the best you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might be the best for those who trust me and, you know, allow me to guide them.
Yeah.
So that was a very nice conversation. I want to thank you once again, Pastor.
It's a pleasure.
Really, really amazing. I hope that everyone actually who's going to be watching us can actually get some value out of this conversation.
I guess so. I hope so.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, and
Thank you.
God bless you too. Thank
Okay,
you very much.
thank you.